Hello guys, Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Today we're going to look at Hong Kong models, 1/32 scale, A-20G nose gear, or landing gear. We've looked at this before, I've gone over it time and time again. This is the one that I've built. If you want to see how I did this, go and watch parts 7 and 8 of my Havoc build. There is a playlist for it, and you can see how I did all this. And this has also been made so that I can actually retract this and tape it down, so that while I'm building the model it's not all sticking out. So this is one of the aircraft brass legs in here, with my brazed on piece. So just to briefly cover, I know you've probably seen this a million times before. Here's our first option. This is the kit plastic leg, and as you can see, if you just imagine, you look on there and you can imagine this piece here is brass, it's from aircraft. I've basically replaced the plastic part with the brass aircraft part. So these, the oleo scissors here, this is plastic, this is plastic. These arms here and here are plastic. This would be plastic if I'd used the plastic parts. Now, I would have said that all of this was too weak in plastic and wouldn't support the weight of the model. I have now seen a couple built and handled them at Telford, and I must be honest, I think probably the plastic nose gear is okay. However, if you should knock your model, put it down a bit heavy, wherever, it probably will break, because you can see the only contact point between the aircraft and the ground is there and there. Okay, so you've got that area there and that area there, and that's just a tiny little glued bar, plastic bar glued on to that tiny little indentation you can just see in there. So yeah, if you do knock it, if you're going to build the model, stick it in a display case and never touch it again, I think this will be absolutely fine. But if you do actually want to lift your model about and stuff, I think really you're better off going for the for one of the metal options, which I'm going to show you now. So along came aircraft and they made this brass nose gear. Okay, so this is actually cast brass. It's got a great big slug on the top, which I've actually cut off and super glued back on for the purposes of the video. This is actually Jason's leg here. One of the issues I'm finding with these legs is at the bottom, the way the kit's designed is you have this wheel, which is inaccurate for an A-20G. You have this wheel, and basically this wheel goes on like that, and as you can see, you have to spring apart the oleo, the leg, to get the wheel to go in. So that is a problem when you've got a metal leg. So what Ali up at Aircraft has done, he has made these two little resin inserts, okay, that fit inside that wheel. Okay, one's deeper than the other, so that one's going to go in that side like that, and then that one's going to go on the other side, and then you get a brass axle to go through. Now, one of the issues I'm finding, the brass tends to vary in diameter, so I'm actually making my leg, the one I got, has a 1.1mm diameter piece of brass. A lot of the others I've had are 1mm, so I have to drill this out to 1.1mm so it fits in my jig, but it's not an issue, it's just 0.1mm of play, that's all. But one of the issues I'm finding is we have to drill them out. Don't go using this type of drill, these things, for drilling it, because it's brass, it's fairly soft, and those drills just want to pull through all the time and they'll just snap. So even if you try and do them by hand or with machine, they'll just snap. So be very, very careful. So use ordinary drills like these for drilling it. Okay, so I drill these out to 1.1, and then I fit them in the jig and I braze my brass to them. Now, one of the issues with this leg that people pointed out was you've got this brass leg, but you've still got to glue it to this plastic. This piece here, that piece there would be plastic. So you've got those two little tiny contact points there and that one little tiny contact point there, and you're going to super glue it on, and it's probably going to be fairly brittle because it has to be super glued. So that was when I came up with the idea of putting the leg in a jig like this, getting a piece of 1.2mm brass, putting that in there, and what I do is braze that onto the end of the leg. Okay, so that's that. Right, if you don't want to go down that route, what Ali came up with is another fix. And what you can do, as you can see when you look up in this nose bay, you'll have the front on there like that, where my hand is. In fact, I've got the front here somewhere. No, I haven't. I thought I had it here. There's going to be a bulkhead there like that. Okay, where my hand is. So you can't really see a lot up in there anyway. So what Ali's done is, rather than mess around having a brass piece brazed on or making it all in one and whatever, what he's done is made this 3D printed piece here. And what you do is you drill a hole through your nose gear bay roof, and you put that in there, and then this big slug will sit inside there and support the leg. Okay, so now what you'll have is that in your nose gear bay, and that's going to support that leg, so you can put a great big dollop of super glue on there, drop that in there, and that's it. It's fixed. Downside to that is you've got that big piece there that you might not want to see in your nose gear bay. A lot of people won't be bothered. Also, the leg's going to be stuck there right throughout your build. But whereas with my option, you can do that and fold it away. Okay, so, and if you want to see how to do this, you need to do some surgery to this part here, which needs a couple of tubes added anyway. But go and have a look at parts 7 and 8, I think it is. I just said, didn't I? Go and have a look how I've done that. So the other option I'm finding with these legs, so when you get yours, have a good look at them. Obviously, because it's cast brass, when it comes out of its mould, as it were, it's still quite soft and it tends to move. So I'm finding these ends can be a little bit twisted. All you've got to do is just grab them and just pull them back. It's not like the scale aircraft conversions legs where it's so soft they're going to break. But you just have to give them a little tweak now and again, and sometimes they'll be like that or like that or like that. You know, just play with them until they're right. You can bend them and pull them about; they won't snap. As you can see, I have to do that to get them to fit in this jig. But this jig is machined all square and everything, so I know that I've got a drill through there in that jig, and I know that slot there is central, so I can bend the leg around until it just sits in there, and I know then when it goes on the aircraft, it's going to sit nice and vertical. Now we have a fourth option, if you like, because you've got the plastic, you've got the aircraft leg glued to the plastic and using this slug. You've got the aircraft leg with my piece of metal brazed on like that. And now we've got another option, a fifth option, I guess. 1, 2, this is the fourth option, sorry. So this is this number here. And this actually is made by Hong Kong Models. And this is basically metal landing gear for the kit. And what they've done, you've got a set of instructions and a bag of parts. It's beautifully packaged, really nice. So what we've got is a set of instructions. The part number is 01EA03. So what they're doing, if we look at the instructions, it's given us safety notes about using cyanoacrylate glue and everything. You've got a layout of the parts there, and it's telling you here what you need to do. You've got your plastic parts going on, okay, going onto the nose gear here. You're going to assemble your front wheel, and you've got to drill that side out, and then you're going to assemble it all into your metal nose gear, and then you've got the main landing gear here. So you're still using plastic parts, but the actual main landing gear part is actually made from white metal. So it's just a single-sided instruction sheet. You can see that there. There you go. Okay. So, okay guys, I just went off then to check availability, and it looks like it's sort of available all over the world really from BNA. I couldn't see it on the Hannant's website, but no doubt it will become available. Stuff from Hong Kong seems to take a while to get here for some reason. But yeah, basically it is available. What was interesting, just for a laugh, I put HKM01EA03 and it came up with a cuddle pony starter set. So if you want to start cuddling ponies, then put that number in Google and you'll be made up. So right, so have a look at the parts. There's one bit about this that I don't like, but I did speak to a guy at Telford who was nothing to do with Hong Kong Models, And he said he's used it and he's glued it and it's absolutely fine. Oh, come on, open bloody bag. Right. So we'll get all this out of here. It's actually available from Art Scale Kit. He has it in stock. BNA models seem to have it, but don't list it. I don't know. It comes up in the Google search, but then you can't find it on their website. So, but it's actually fairly cheap. It's about $15, which is about £10 or £11 now, isn't it? No, it's about £11 or £12 actually. So it's very reasonable, but I'm not actually convinced it's necessary. The JK model is going to come with this, so that's good. But I think it's probably, I don't think it's the best way to go for a couple of reasons, and I'll cover that why. And I'll tell you in a minute why I've got this. This has been sent to me by Hong Kong Models for me to do a test. But basically what we have is our main gear there, which are basically just the plastic parts cast in white metal. And it's not the usual sort of soft stuff. They snap off nicely. Look at that. That's lovely, isn't it? But it's not the really soft stuff like I've seen some other white metal undercarriage. So it's a bit of a clean up on the seams. You should be able to polish those legs up and not have to use chrome paint. But very, very nice indeed. And looking forward to using these on my model. As I say, the JK kit is going to come with this in the box. The downside I see to this, I wonder if that will snap off of there. Yes, it does. Look at that. Just snap them off. That's great. And then you've got some... Keep these in your spares box. You've got some nose weights for your smaller aircraft there. What I don't like about it is because the original nose wheel has to open up to get the wheel in. Obviously, what they've had to do when they make this is make it so that it's a separate piece. So that's, I think, a weak spot. I also think, yes, you can probably tell I'm editing this in. Something I've thought of after I've actually made the video while I'm editing it. Of course, what you could do is take your wheel. I'm not even sure if the wheel's going to fit without drilling it. Let's have a look. But that weak spot could be made much stronger if you actually glued the wheel. Now, don't glue the wheel at the beginning. Okay, that one goes in that side. One side's got a flat spot on it to orientate the wheel correctly. So that's going to go into there. I don't really know why they're telling us to drill the wheel because it seems to fit without drilling it. So of course, that's going to go in there like that. Okay, so there's your assembly together. And what I'm thinking is this area here is a weak spot because that's just a small area that's going to be super glued together. However, if you fit your wheel, don't glue the wheel now. Get your model finished and make sure the flat spot is on the bottom, like the Airfix 124 Spitfire. That's the same. The orientation the kit gives you is not correct. If you look, even in the special Spitfire book, when the aircraft sat on the ground, the tyres are like that. They're not flat on the ground. And I did, if you look back at my 124 Spitfire build, you'll see I did in there, I actually removed the D that makes you put the wheel in a certain position so that the wheel could, or I cut off a pin or something, I can't remember. Because if you build the model as out of the box, the wheels don't sit flat on the ground, they sit like that rather than like that. And you don't want that to happen here. So what you can do, once the model's built, get it on the ground, get your wheel in the correct orientation, cut the drops of super glue in there, and then it will be extremely strong. So yes, this will be a great option if you're not worried about having your landing gear folding up while you're building the model. So the reason I've got this, the reason I've asked Neil to send this to me is I want to see if we can cut this off and then drill that out and fit the plastic leg to there. And then you've got this strong metal upper part, which is going to be, you know, really strong, and not have to worry about the weakness of the plastic parts up here. The downside to this is what they've done, it's made it stronger, but they've actually molded this piece here onto there. So you can see when you look here at the front of the nose gear, you can see we have that rod there. If I hold this there, we have that rod there, which is that rod there, and we have that rod there, which is that rod there. And what he's done is made it all into one piece, and that makes it a lot more rigid, but it also means you won't be able to fold it back like I can. So sort of, I don't know. You could cut that off because it doesn't, I mean, I've proved you don't really need it. The only weak point here is going to be when it's sat on its undercarriage. Obviously that is going to want to pull away like that, but the front bulkhead will stop it going very far. And I'm actually thinking when I do actually pull it down for the last time, I think I'll probably put some super glue in there, and I'll probably put a little lump of super glue on there so that it goes up against the bulkhead and it'll stay straight. But for me, the most important thing was ending up with a leg that's going to be strong enough to support the model and get knocked and not break, but also be able to retract it and tape it down so that it's not sticking out all the time while we're building the model. Just one other thing, guys, if you are using the Eduard resin wheels, this is the Eduard resin wheel set 632197, now with the correct size wheels. The old one had, the tyres were nearly 1.5 inches. These should be about 1 3/8 inches diameter. Let's just have a quick check. I actually contacted Eduard and told them. I wasn't sure if it was me who told them or if they already knew, but they've now redone them. So if you've got an old set with the bigger tyres, yeah, 1.375, there we go. So if you've got the old set with the bigger main gear, contact Eduard, contact your supplier. If you've got them from Hannants, I think Hannants have had a load shipped to them so that they can update their customers. But so there we go. I've got 2 sets because they sent me one set that potentially got lost. So they sent me another set and that got lost as well. And it turned up they sent them to Eduard had my address wrong and they'd actually gone to a neighbour's house. So that was funny. And no, I'm not going to give those away because I'm going to keep them for my J. Unless when I buy the wheels for the J, it comes with the correct wheels. So basically, if you're using the Eduard resin wheels, then plastic nose gear, no problem at all. It's going to fit on there, no issue whatsoever. And as I've already said, having now seen the model built, I personally believe the nose gear is absolutely fine. If you're going to stick your model on a shelf and leave it there, it's fine. You're going to have to drill out the centre or cut that stub down because it's deeper. That's why they're telling you to cut. So you can see that goes on there, and then that will fit into there like so. Now I don't know if Neil's going to update the moulds for the J, K, and put the correct nose wheel in there. I very much doubt it because this is available for peanuts. So there we are. Right, so and you could, just to show you the difference, here's the kit wheel and there's the correct wheel. The size is correct, the size is absolutely fine. And Neil's got a lovely flat spot on the bottom. It's weighted and everything, which is really nice. The only trouble is this is where I say, guys, be very, very careful using restored aircraft for your references. They obviously could no longer get this tyre or something, so they've changed the wheel for a wheel off of something else. That may even be a custom made wheel for a tyre they can actually get. So be very, very careful. Right, so and they're going to fit. Actually, let's see while we're here. Let's see how these fit on the main gear. I haven't ever tried them. They're lovely. That's lovely, isn't it? There you go. So that's how your wheels are going to look on your main gear. So yeah, having said everything that I've said in this video up to now, I would recommend this. Actually, it's a good, strong, solid option. The only downside to it is you don't have the ability to fold it while the aircraft's being built. But if that doesn't bother you, then that'll be it for you. So, and you know, about $15, it's very, very cheap. I'm going to stick with the aerocraft metal leg in mine. As I say, this is going to come with the... I mean, of course, what you could do, guys, is cut that off. You could cut this off here, and then you'll basically have the same as the aircraft leg, and it will fold back. So you could do that, and then that'll glue onto there. But anyway, let's have a look at it when we come to do the JK. So there we go. So that is that. I love the way they break off. That's really good. That's really cool. That's so satisfying. And we've got a nice bit of nose weight there now for another model, should we want it. As I say, the downside I think is this piece here, but I'm going to give it a go, see if I can solder it, and we'll go from there. And I'll let you know in another build. That's another build video. So there's your options for your nose gear, and you know, this is one of them. If you really want metal landing gear, I believe this is the only option at the moment for the main gear, but I do believe that Ali is going to be making these as well. But it's a very, as you can see here, it's a very complex system with lots of parts. But as I say, I saw the kit built twice at Telford and handled it, and it felt perfectly strong enough. And the thing is, with the nose weights in the model wants to be a tail sitter. The front was just a few grams. The front was probably lighter than the weight of those. So as I say, if you're going to put the model in the cabinet and not get it out, just stick with the plastic landing gear. Don't bother wasting your money on anything else. But if you are going to be taking your model to shows, you're going to be moving it around or whatever, go for that or that. So I'm going to have a play with this, and I'll come back and let you know my findings. So that's been a review of that set there. If you're interested, that's the number. Go get yourself some. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.